Oh boy, Harman Smith cannot handle criticism when it comes to that new IP drag game. Let's get into it.
It's really interesting to kind of look at the reactions to some of the software shown off
The only thing interesting here is how your forehead continues to get bigger while your hairline keeps receding.
at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, because a lot of it has been very well received, a lot of it's been poorly received, and a lot of it is
Yeah, mostly for that overpriced $80 abomination of a game, Mario Kart World.
quite a lot of it actually are things that people aren't really talking about at all. Right now everybody's trying to go after everybody welcome tour
You mean the overpriced $10 game that's supposed to be the instruction manual to your console? No, we don't know nothing about that.
on Nintendo Switch. It's like $10. It's not a big deal. The seething about it is unwarranted.
It's completely warranted. Well, we all know that you and Nintendo Prime are going to waste your money on it, and you're going to encourage Nintendo to keep doing this bullshit practices.
But people are freaking out about it because it's just another thing to freak out about it. The freak out about it's pathetic, and it does need to be addressed. That like people
No, the only thing pathetic is that it's literally the instruction manual to your console. Since when in history has any company ever sat there and charged you for the instruction manual to your own product?
people really need to stop seething about video games costing real money. Okay, like yes, you are
It's not a video game. It's literally the instruction manual to how your system works.
you are supposed to work a job and pay for things with real money. It's not complicated. So yeah, everybody welcome tour has been like kind of attacked
And rightfully so. There's no reason why it should even cost money. It should literally be included with the console.
for that reason, and it really does need to be addressed. That like no, it's not an issue. It's not a problem. Not a big deal at all.
I mean, there wouldn't be an issue if they would have just included it as a pack-in thing. I mean, that's the bare minimum Nintendo could even do.
But like the thing that really interests me though is like the universal contempt that people are showing towards Dragon Drive, the new IP from Nintendo, which is like
I mean, it doesn't really look bad. I don't think it's really woke. I mean, you're playing as a robot and like a wheelchair looking thing as like a basketball game. Honestly, I think that game should have been a pack-in also. I think that and the tech demo, if they would have sat there and packed in both of those two, I think that would be an amazing deal. But that game alone, it should not be worth no more than $40. But I have a feeling they're probably going to charge 70.
wheelchair basketball. I've seen a lot of people call it woke. I've seen a lot of people call it slow and boring. And to me, like it looks kind of like a Wii Sports thing where it's clearly a tech demo, demonstrating like the
Yes, I actually agree with you. It does kind of look like more of like the Wii Sports and shows off the mouse function of the Joy-Con. So yeah, I would agree with you. So guess what? Since you sat there and said it was like a Wii Sports thing, that means this should be packed in, just like the Wii Sports was with the Wii.
mouse controls and how they function and how you can use them and stuff like that. Clearly it's a tech demo for that, and yet nobody really cares. Like instead of
No, this is not a tech demo. Welcome Tour literally shows off your console to show what it can do with nothing more than an overpriced instruction manual. That drag rate or the I whatever it's called, that basketball looking game, that is not a tech demo. That is an actual game. That is a very low budget, low price game.
take into consideration this is like introducing people to the new technology, that it has a new control scheme. All anybody can do is just scream about the wheelchairs. Like I just saw so Josh is like this guy who's been around for a while, and he's going on Twitter like acting like, oh man, I just went to the Nintendo event to the UK, to the UK show, and they told me that they don't call them wheelchairs, they call them vehicles.
I mean, they look like wheelchairs, but who cares? People are going to complain just to complain. They're going to find every little thing to try to stay relevant. Probably what you're referring to this Josh guy, just like what you do. Who cares? Who cares if it's in wheelchairs? Who cares what they call it vehicles? It's a game, and I mean, it doesn't look too bad. I don't see myself playing hours and hundreds of hours into it.
And like he's clearly like trying to get a rise out of like woke Twitter, out of this mindset like, oh no, how dare they call wheelchairs vehicles. It's like
See, even you said it. The only time I've ever heard anybody complain about this IP is coming from you. I have literally never seen nothing on YouTube, never heard nothing from anybody. I don't think anybody's really even thinking about this game. I think only you are.
it's so obviously forced and so like obviously insane that we do really need to take a step back and like really analyze like why this game is being like analyzed.
Analyzed, huh? Is that something you're trying to tell us, Harman? Something you like to do with a certain someone that starts with Doug Bowser?
and and why like whether or not like that like skepticism is warranted and like
Well, Harman, nothing is free from skepticism. Okay, it's whether it's justified or not.
the more I think about it, the more I think it's not true. Because like when you really think about it, when people are seething about this, they try and say like, oh, it's not going to have a lot of content. It looks basic. It looks like Nintendo Switch Sports.
I mean, that's exactly what it looks like. I doubt there's going to be any story mode to it. It looks like a decently fun, different type of basketball game. But I don't see this game better not be no 60, 70, $80. It better not be over 40.
And to me, I'm just kind of like, hell fucking yeah. I love Nintendo Switch Sports. I want more Nintendo Switch Sports. That is a good thing for me.
No, what's good for you is probably Nintendo Fitness. That's the one you need to get.
And to the community at large, like Nintendo Switch Sports is seen as this like absolute low point in the Nintendo Switch 2 lifespan, Nintendo Switch lifespan. But me personally,
Well, because it was missing the boxing and the baseball, not including everything from the Wii Resort.
I thought the game was like spectacular.
Well, that's what you get for thinking.
So when you compare a game negatively to, when you compare a game to Switch Sports and try to say that makes it bad, that's gonna get me hyped for it. Because if you're the same kind of dipshit, low IQ like Mongoloid who like
Harman, you suffer from IQ deficiency. You have no room to be talking about anybody's low IQ.
went after Nintendo Switch Sports to begin with because you couldn't figure out how to play it, that I think like normal people are gonna have a great time with it.
It's not that they didn't know how to play. They could have made a better Wii Sports, but the Switch Sports was a downgrade. It was missing a lot of content. They could have combined the Wii Sports and the Wii Resort into one, made it into one game with all those great games, but they chose not to do it.
Like again, I've been a big advocate for Nintendo Switch Sports since it came out. I don't know if I am the biggest advocate for it, but I've been very vocal about this.
I don't know what's worse, you being an advocate for Switch Sports or you being an advocate for Princess Peach Showtime.
Anybody attacking these games for not being very complex or not having a lot of content are clearly missing the point.
I mean, what is the point? Giving out your money to a greedy corporation that doesn't deserve it and is giving you these shitty games?
And there's a couple more like Nintendo games that seem to be getting like hit with the same kind of allegations. Tomodachi Life, WarioWare, Rhythm Heaven, just to name a few. Like anything that isn't like
Can you at least name a good game that's even worth talking about?
some big hardcore thing is seen as like something to be skeptical of. And I suppose everybody Welcome Tour is the same way as well. Because I think they said it's gonna have like real games in it.
No, the reason why we're skeptical of the tech demo is because it's nothing more than an instruction manual to your damn console. It should not even be charged at all. It should be free.
That demonstrate the technology. It's another tech demo. So like,
Is that wrist motion what you do with that Pikachu of yours?
what exactly is wrong with that? Like it's one of those things that like I do think we really need to talk about more, is that like we may not be getting people who are like going and getting their first impressions on these games might not be the best sources of information in regards to them.
Yes, like you. Trust me, guys. If you are watching this and you are thinking this guy knows what he's talking about because he's the biggest fanboy ever, he actually sat there and said that Princess Peach Showtime should have won Game of the Year. Just think about that.
We've seen this to a certain extent with Mario Kart World, actually. I think I talked about this already, but there was a big narrative when that game was first shown off, and they showed off the open world stuff. How you had like a bunch of people like immediately coming out, like, "Oh, it looks completely empty. There's nothing to do." And
Oh, yes, there are people that have come out and said, but that's a small part compared to what people are complaining about Mario Kart World. That is nothing compared to the $80 price tag that it wants to charge.
it was very apparent to any of us who actually follow Nintendo news that they just weren't showing us anything. you know?
So they released a direct to show us why we should be excited for the game and buy it, but then they showed us nothing. How does that make any sense, Harman?
Like it was showing us everything, right? Like again, they had a major direct scheduled for the 17th. So like I don't understand why like people seriously tried freaking out about it.
Because it looked boring and it didn't look that good, and it was overpriced at $80. That's why everybody is freaking out over it.
Again, like I'm certain there will be a lot of content in that game. I'm sure like all of the people's misgivings about it will be completely and totally debunked. You know, the game's going to be very well received.
You know, you sure give a lot of faith into a company that has been letting us down for a couple of years now.
And like, but that doesn't stop the fact that there was such a huge push initially to try and like take away from this game, to try and convince people that it's not going to be good, that it's not going to be worth playing, that it's not something that like we should be excited for.
Are we still on Mario Kart World, or did you move to another game? I can never tell with you. You switch up so much, you just can never stay on topic, but I am confused.
And I do think that as Nintendo fans, we do need to start acknowledging that this kind of mindset is damaging to the company and damaging to our communities.
What community? Even the Nintendo fanboys don't even accept you, Harman. You're not in any community. You're on an island all on your own.
Because after all, you should be allowed to say that I like Nintendo Switch Sports without having like people try and dogpile you, like trying to talk about like I don't know, sports mates not being as good as me's or whatever. Like it's all hyperbolic. Like
You do the same thing when someone sits there and says, "Oh, I like Baldur's Gate 3," or "Oh, I like Elden Ring." You dogpile on them. The only difference is you have nobody behind you except for that damn Pikachu.
that really needs to like be pushed back up against in the community, you know. And I do that is kind of my view of like drag drive, you know, looking at it like it is the Wii Sports S tech demo.
Okay, so now we're back to the drag drive. Finally, we got back to the main point of the damn video. No, it is not the Wii Sports or Switch Sports equivalent. It looks like it's only playing one game. It looks like it only does basketball. So how can you sit there and compare a game who sits there and has multiple sports to a game that only has one sport, I think?
You know, this is something that I'm sure is going to have an audience that are going to appreciate it for what it is, that are going to have fun with it. I'm sure it's at the very least going to be a fun game.
I mean, if they could sell over 1 million copies of Princess Peach Showtime, I'm pretty certain they could sit there and sell this game to make a profit, because this game looks way better than Princess Peach Showtime.
You know, whether or not it's like the best game ever, like I do think people need to get in their heads. It doesn't need to be, right? Like it's a game that Nintendo decided to make, and it's something that you can buy if you want or not. You know, like
I actually agree with him on that last part. Very little do I ever agree with Harman about, but a broken clock is right twice a day. If you do want it, you can buy it. If you don't, I guess you don't. Now, I don't see anything wrong with the game. The game doesn't look too bad. It looks like you can have a little bit of fun with some friends or some family or something, but this game should not be more than $40. If they sit there and price this over $40, people better revolt against it. Well, that's it for my reaction. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me or not. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, man, to wrap it up so you don't curse us with another Harman Smith. And until next time, stay vigilant.